5-Minute Church. Welcome to Midweek Minutes. We're talking about relationships.
It affects everybody.
We've been arguing the whole time in the car of what direction to go because he's directionally challenged. Just kidding.
I am directionally challenged.
And we have not been arguing, just kidding.
We want to encourage you in your relationships. There's a bunch of different aspects to relationships, but we want to focus in on some simple things about the spiritual aspect of it, emotional and physical aspect of relationships.
3 aspects. And I have to say, in a relationship, if you're single, or we're talking to the single person right now, if you're single, what are you putting out there to attract that person? Who are you as a person, and what are you putting out there? Social media is huge. What are you putting out there on your social media? What do your selfies say about you? That says a lot, because I'll have to tell you, dating online is huge now. And you go dating online, the first place people go to is your social media and check you out. And they can judge
pictures,
you based off of your lifestyle.
Be careful what you're posting. Absolutely. I had a counselor once tell me that people that are in relationship usually deserve each other, meaning that the healthiness of you will reflect in the person that you attract. And so, if you're in an unhealthy relationship, it's probably because there's some things in you that you need to work on.
It's true. And I think that goes back to, being whole and healthy as a person, because if you're healthy, you're confident, you're and sometimes God calls us to be alone, and he wants us to be alone for a while because he wants us to look in the mirror and reflect and work on areas in our life.
Those are tough moments.
Those are challenging. I did it for 8 years.
Oh man, I couldn't do it that long.
I guess I didn't learn quick enough, but it's so challenging. But God wants to, work on us on the inside, but he has a perfect person for you. And sometimes it's just they're not ready. Maybe it's, you're ready and you've been waiting, but they've got still some areas that they're working on in their life. But at that perfect moment, God will bring that person into your life.
And I think it's starting with him. In 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 14, he says, do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. That his basic...
That verse is, I've heard that verse since I was little. Yeah. And explain that verse.
Well, to be unequally yoked is to be in relationship. The word yoked, and it was like an oxen that were yoked together, not like the egg yolks.
That's all I think is.
Don't have yoke in your relationship. But being yoked, meaning pulling life and doing life together with non-believers. Doesn't mean that we can't be friends with non-believers, but he's talking about the spiritual aspect. It starts with our faith in God because it gives purpose and meaning and direction. And if you don't have that, man, you're going to be an uphill battle for a long time.
It's true. And I know I have dated unbelievers and
missionary dated.
John calls it missionary dating. And I thought all these aspects, I'm like, we're on this level, we're perfect here, but he is not a believer. And I'm like, but why wouldn't that be my number one quality that I would be looking for in somebody? Because I believe if God is in the center of a relationship, everything else falls, and it simplifies everything.
You've used the word perfect, but there's no perfect person. But if you're following a perfect God, then your relationship can get through a lot of things and a lot of the failures and the faults of the individuals. If we have God in the center, he can use imperfect people and create a perfect relationship if you have him in the center.
So true. And I know social media, online dating is huge. The question is where do you go to meet a good godly person? Well, let me tell you, I lived in Los Angeles and John was in North Dakota, and we met. So if God has designed you to meet, he will intersect your lives. I'm telling you.
There's no other chance impossible for us to meet. So God is an amazing God. But that's that verse where it says, the strand of 3 cords is not quickly broken. It's talking about relationships where there's 2 individuals, but then he's that third cord that can weave it all together. And so stay focused on his cord in your life. And I know that if you long for that relationship, he will bring another cord into your life.
So true. And don't give up. If I can just encourage you today, do not give up on this journey or settle. Those are the 2 worst things that you can do, because I promise you that he'll have a designed perfect partner for you. Be patient, keep, digging in. And just during that time, it's also a time to just kind of get to know you and really, like I said, go inside and work on the areas that you need to work on and continue just to be faithful. You guys, we love you. And we're talking about, we are doing a series on relationships. So whether, we've talked about relationship dating 101, married, divorced,
We'll
all
cover
the
it
aspects.
all.
We're going to cover it all
We've
because
been through it all, so we'll cover it all.
it pertains to everybody. And so we're going to be talking, send us your questions and any input as well.
Also, if you're not getting the daily Bible verses, we send daily Bible verses to your smart device. Change that on your notifications under 5-Minute Church app. Change the notifications to get those. Please do that. We love you. Again, don't give up. Don't settle. We're praying for you. Thank you for tuning into Midweek Minutes.
Have an awesome week.
It's too broken